Hi, this is Freeman Michaels here. I'm the author of Weight Release, A Liberating Journey, but I'm here today to talk about Women, Food, and God by Geneen Roth. There's so much in this book that I love, and so I want to talk about that because I love the way she approaches the issues, the real issues, because we talk in terms of food as being our relationship with food as being something we want to fix, right? Or maybe it's ourselves. You know, personally, I've been on the weight diet ride for decades. Frankly, I think I'm off it now. Similar to what Oprah said, is that I'm not doing that anymore. And in fact, my life has become about coaching other people in terms of giving up the diet ride. I have a 100-pound weight swing in my adult life. So I've been on every end of this. I've been underweight and I've been, obese. And in both cases, it was sort of an out of balance thing. And there was something underneath my eating habits, or what I call patterns of behavior around food, and it related to my needs. You know, growing up, I was not allowed, or I didn't feel like I was allowed to have my feelings. As a man in this culture, and in my family of origin, I was told I was too sensitive. I wasn't allowed to be needy. And then what I understand about my own experience is that I use food to cope with stress, anxiety, fear, loneliness, sadness, whatever was coming up for me. Because again, there was no outlet for those feelings. So that's what I did. And this book really speaks to that. It really talks about how food has become a replacement, right? And so that I really appreciate. God, there's so much in this book I appreciate. Another thing about the book that I think is great is that my challenges with food, with my weight, I wanted them for most of my life to go away. And now I'm really grateful for them because they've made me reflect on my own humanness. I mean, they've really, I don't know, now my life is about helping people to give up the diet ride and helping them see what a pathway this is for them to become sort of the person they were always born to be, and the meaning in the challenges. And that's what Geneen talks about in the book, and that's really important. So we actually go from seeing this thing that we're sort of identifying as our curse, right, and seeing it as our gift, or reframing it as our gift. And so I really appreciate that. There's a few things in the book that aren't exactly, in my mind, how do I say this? I don't know. I take some, I'm concerned with them. One is eating when you're hungry. So I know for me, when I'm triggered emotionally, I actually feel physical hunger. And I've learned to really track that. Am I really hungry, or am I just triggered and I want to eat compulsively? Late at night I have sort of rituals around, I call it secret eating, which is what I do. I would go and eat compulsively late at night. And again, it's not because I would actually feel hunger. I feel like I'm hungry, and the truth is, yeah, I was hungry for something, but it wasn't necessarily food. I was just using food. So that's what I'm a little concerned about, though I'm sure if her and I sat down, we'd come to the same conclusions, that we have to sort of interrupt that. I also think creating a schedule, not from a place of fixing ourselves, but from a place of really wanting to have a really positive relationship with food, so food becomes fuel for our bodies, is wise. So setting up a bit of a structure can help. I know for me, because I was in such a battle with food for so many years, where food was the enemy, I would restrict myself, right? And that always leads to a binge. And it always leads to being overly hungry. In other words, if I was not eating, that was quote unquote a win. So I would go for hours without eating when really I ought to be eating. And a lot of that, it slowed my metabolism down, it put my body into starvation mode. So there's a whole bunch of things that are just wrong about that, sort of physiologically. So I think we have to be concerned that people who have compulsive behavior around food need to actually have some structure. Not so much structure where they're on a diet, where they're depriving themselves, but they need to have something to kind of stick to help them. They have to address the underlying issues that actually fuel the behavior. The other thing is eat what you want. For those of us who struggle with food, our wants may be out of alignment with what we actually need. In other words, I may want ice cream, but what I might need is comfort. So that, though I recognize what she's saying, I think it's trying to get our wants and our needs back in alignment is sort of where we want to go with it versus just eat what you want. Because the truth is, there's a lot of things I may want that I don't really need. So I think we're sort of saying the same thing, but that's what I'm concerned with. Just a general piece is that I really work with a structure for people. I mean, I have a system. And Janine, I don't know. I mean, I haven't been to her workshops or her retreats, so I don't know if there's a system. It feels a lot like, I mean, the excavation to find what's underneath the behavior is great. It's so important. In fact, I think it's the most important thing, which is why I love the book. But then you got to go somewhere with it. I mean, you actually have to then create what I call practices, self-honoring practices. And you have to have a positive motivation for making the change versus not liking yourself. So there's a few distinctions, but in general, I want to say that this is an excellent book. I highly, highly recommend it. I recommend it to my clients and who take my courses, my weight release courses, and I recommend it to you. Thanks for watching.